you do if you could go back in time and find your teenager version? What would you say? Well, I thought about it, and these are the 10 things I would tell my younger version. And I'm curious to know what you would tell your younger version. Let's go.
All right, guys, we have something different for you today. It certainly plays right into the middle of our understanding of headship, patriarchy, and understanding a little bit about family and the significance, the importance of walking rightly and getting things right, etc. So this evening, what I'm going to share with you is a video that was made by my woman. She actually has a Brazilian channel, or a channel in Portuguese called Amor Justo, or Righteous Love. And she covers a number of different things in Portuguese. However, a recent video that she made directed to women about 10 things that she would say to her younger self had she been given the opportunity to, that I was impressed enough with the video to tell her I'd like to see that in English because I would love to play that for our audience. The reason I'm particularly passing this along, unedited, just straightforward, this is coming from a woman who was successful in business and followed the world's system, the world's recommendation, essentially did well in college, went on and got a master's, successful in business, delayed building a family, and then somewhere in her very early 40s had an encounter with the Most High, and also this realization that maybe some things had passed her by or nearly passed her by, and there was a different path that might have been closer to the design that the Creator has for women in general. Now, there are other truths in here that are well worth even considering as a man. So this is not entirely directed just at women, but some different things to consider. So without further ado, here it is as it has the intro for her Portuguese channel. But fantastic piece here. I hope it prompts some thought for you. I hope this is something that you can sit down maybe with your teenage daughters or even teenage sons on some of the points on here are very relevant for all young people. And this should be something that will benefit those who desire to walk righteously and build the kingdom righteously. B'Shem Yeshua. All right, so here we go.
What would you do if you could go back in time and find your teenager version? What would you say? Well, I thought about it, and these are the 10 things I would tell my younger version. And I'm curious to know what you would tell your younger version. Let's go. So I often think about what I would tell to my younger version, and this does not mean that I regret anything about my life. I think Yahweh gives us the path and the struggles we need, but it's important for us to look back and think about what we would do different, and especially for younger people who might be watching, especially younger women. I share here, out of my 44 years old, what I would tell my teenager version. And hopefully this is something that blesses you or something that makes you think. So what would be the 10 things? Number 1, you can always work outside. You can always make a living with a career. You can always be a professional. But there is a very crucial time when you're young, and especially when you're virgin, to find a suitable husband and create and start a family. This gets much more difficult as you grow older. And, it's not unfair or anything. It's just the way it is. And Look outside and see if there is a suitable partner. Ask your father for help. He has your best interest in mind. He may help you. But think about it. This was something that growing up, especially as a teenager, I didn't think I needed to think about it. I thought, I have my whole life ahead of me to do that. I don't want to think about it. I don't want a family. This is too much. And I would be grateful today I would be grateful if I had listened to someone to tell me, you know what, you should pay attention to your surroundings, and you will never have the same opportunity to start a family again. And just to give an example, my mother, she did her university degree when she was 60. She was retired, and she said, you know what, I want to study. And she went to university and she got her degree. And, it was possible. But if she wants to have a child at 60, that is probably not going to be possible. So, something to think about. And the other thing I would tell myself is that, well, men don't have to be single to be an option for you. Number 2, youth is a crucial time also to learn new things, because it's when our brains are more flexible, and also when we have time. To be honest, I would tell myself, you will never have as much time and as much energy as now, so use this gift to expand your knowledge in useful skills. Which brings me to number 3. Learn useful skills while you have time, such as sewing, gardening, carpentry, mechanics, cutlery. Learn more languages. Use your time to read more things that interest you. Number 4, electricity, internet, all the comforts of life, it's great, and we should all be grateful while we have them, but let's be honest, we can't take those for granted. And I think it's important that we are prepared not to have all those comforts. And I think that's where the skills that you learn, like cutlery, sewing, and cooking, gardening, all these skills help in case you don't have these comforts anymore. Now, number 5. If you need to go to the university, which is not always the case, some people don't have to go to the university. The ideal is to prioritize a knowledge or a course that will be useful for you, something that you can use in the long term, and not necessarily humanities. Human sciences, well, I studied psychology, and although it was a great skill to practice and a great course, it's something that could be better used when you have more experience in life. I wouldn't recommend that to a teenager. Like, I started university when I was 16, and let's be honest, it's not when we have full maturity to really understand what we can do with all our life and what we want to do for a living. So I would tell my younger self, relax, do something technical first, something manual, learn a skill, and think about it. Look around to see if there is any suitable husband around, and go slow. You don't have to rush into university just because all your friends are doing it. Now, number 6, speaking of friends, most of your today's friends will probably not be around in the future, and even some family members that you love now. So really, socializing is great, is very important for our development, and we need to do it, but it's not as important as you may think. So carving some time for knowledge and to think about your family and what you want to be in the future, reading the Bible, that's probably a better use of your time. So think about it. Number 7, preserving yourself from the things of the world is the right thing, and it's not a reason for shame, and it's not a reason for pride either. It's just normal. It's normal and it's correct. So preserve yourself. Don't be afraid to talk about it, and motivate also your friends to preserve themselves, because the world will tell you that you should experiment everything and you should not be boring. But being boring sometimes is the best choice. Now, number 8. So when I was a teenager, I bought my first car, which was a Beetle. Amazing old car that solved all my problems, took me everywhere. Super easy maintenance car. And then one day I decided to change it for a newer car, which also came with debt. So I would tell my younger self, don't do that. That's stupid. Just keep your old efficient car and, just relax. You're too young to have debt. So don't think about it. And this brings me to number 9. Financial education is crucial and you won't learn it in school. So I would tell my younger self, talk to people who are successful in finances. What is it that they do? How do they save money? Learn to save your resources. Don't spend on useless things. Don't try to compensate, or get a gratification, an emotional gratification with material things. Just, save your resources, because it's the smartest thing to do. You will see that a lot of things that we buy, we don't need. So just save money and talk to successful people about finances, because that's a very important thing, and it's also something that you have to learn by yourself. Number 10, this is my favorite. So one day you will understand that there is a maker and he takes care of you, and everything will make sense. So these are my 10 things. I'm curious to know what you would tell your younger version. So tell us in the comment section. Thank you. Shalom.
All right, so that was a fantastic video. A lot of great points in there. Certainly well worth going back and reviewing periodically. I know even I looked at that and I went, yep, that's one that I should have thought about. That's one I should have thought about. That's one I should have thought about. So a lot of good stuff there. I hope that's something that will help you out as you build your family, as you build your house, and as you seek to encourage and strengthen others in their walk, so that they as well might avoid some of the trappings of the world around us. All right, for King and Kingdom, I bid you shalom.